All right, my friends, welcome to episode 108 of Prof and Dev Play Games. I'm the Professor Larry at Prof Plays Games on Twitter, and over there is Anthony, the Dev, at SummerSpeak on Twitter. How is it going tonight, man?
It's going okay. I think I'm getting sick, but
oh no,
school has started, so
right.
I think I've survived. We've done 4 weeks without getting sick, so it's a new record for the start of a school year.
Right, so it's due.
Yeah, my wife has said that she's kind of feeling a little under the weather. But I'm almost certain my throat's getting scratchy, and I can feel it coming on. So,
well, thanks for the reminder, because I need to go get my flu shot.
I'll be doing that next week or the week after.
Yeah,
the school here does a big thing with it, so families can just come in and get flu shots for free. So
nice. Yeah, my school does them as well. So I can just go in and get them.
Yeah.
I need to do it because I don't want to bring home the flu to my kid who...
No.
That would be bad.
It is
real bad.
Yeah.
Well, I'm lucky that I only have one class. Like when I had 3 classes and then coordinating, I was exposed to hundreds and hundreds of students. And right now it's 20 students twice a week.
Yeah.
So I've reduced my contagion chances, I guess. So this week on this episode, we're talking about a couple of things. We're talking about the Battlefront 2 beta, which I think you've got a chance to play, right?
No, but that's what I want to talk about.
Perfect. Okay, so we'll talk about that. I played it, you didn't, and maybe there's some reason why, so we'll chat about that. We're going to talk a little bit about the Wolfenstein 2 Twitter ad that came out, the Make America Nazi Free Again. There's some controversy, which shouldn't be controversial, so we're going to talk about that. And then we're going to talk about how to find time to game when you're a father, or not just a father, but a parent with limited time, and how you eke out some gaming time. And then we'll talk a little bit about the games we're playing, and then I'll wrap it up for us this week. So let's start with, what the heck? You didn't play the Battlefront 2 beta?
So, I don't have PS Plus anymore. I did not realize that it had lapsed.
Okay. That'll do it, man.
And I was like, oh. And I don't really feel like buying it right now, because I bet there'll be a sale around Christmas.
Right. Because you don't play a ton of online multiplayer.
I don't. I tend to like it for the games, which is great, like the free games. But yeah, that was the sudden, I guess I don't. And my desire to play the Battlefront 2 beta isn't high enough for me to be like, I should just pick up a month or two. I'll just wait till Christmas. Usually you can get a deal for like $40-$50 somewhere in there.
Right.
Around the holidays. And that's usually what I do. The only reason I realize it's been off for a while is there was the Sony settlement thing that happened. Do you ever hear of that? Settlement. There was a settlement for like PSN hacking a long time ago, or being down for a long time, and I was part of that. And so they gave me 3 months free, or 5 months. It expired like May, June, somewhere in there, I guess. Now when I looked back at it, and I was used to just always re-upping it at Christmas, like that's what I was doing. And then this hit, and it pushed it out, and I never even thought about it.
So you haven't had PS Plus since May?
I haven't noticed it.
Well, I guess you don't need it then, huh? You missed all those games, huh?
For now. I mean, I do want them for certain games. Like, I wouldn't have mind having it for this month for Metal Gear. Yeah, to at least try it.
Right.
But for the time being, it's okay. I'm like, as you said, I'm not missing it a ton.
Exactly.
And I have other things I could spend my money on, and it's okay. Like,
right. Well, it's like my wife and I were talking tonight about when we transitioned our baby to a new room. We were like, we need some nightlights for this room. And she's like, oh, yeah, there's a bag under the sink with nightlights. And I was like, there is? She's like, yeah, we moved it there last year when we moved into this place, and we haven't even unpacked that bag. And I thought, that means we don't need anything in that bag.
Like anything, yeah. Nightlights now are useful.
For the older kids running around?
And just in general, like having at least a little light in a kid's room is nice. Less even for the kid, more for the parent if you have to be dealing with crap in there while they're sleeping.
Exactly, that's what we're doing right now, because right now it's kind of a minefield in the nursery, because we've just started transition up there, so I can see in the dark pretty well. My wife can't, so she tripped over some shit and was like, we need nightlights in here, and that prompted the whole conversation. But it's funny, like, we haven't touched that bag in a year. It's like, what else is in there that we don't need? So,
but on the Battlefront 2 front, I'm also just, I don't know what it is. Like, I like Star Wars. I actually just love Star Wars, but I'm just not as interested as I thought I would be in, like, shooting things in Star Wars.
I wonder if it's because this is a multiplayer beta, and that never really intrigues you anyways.
Yeah, not a ton. I did read the Inferno Squadron book.
Oh, yeah.
It was good. It sets up good characters. interesting. I still don't completely love like the Empire story.
Mm-hmm.
They're still space Nazis, space racists.
Right.
Like,
right.
You can try to temper that, and like, there's some books that show like, well, why do people serve that? And there's a lot of history to that whole thing, but when it comes down to it, the Empire is evil. Star Wars is very black and white. Like that's how it is.
Nazis are evil. That's black and white too, right?
Yeah. So it's just one of those things where I'm like, you have some interesting characters, but I can't get behind the Empire. Sorry.
Yeah, I think that I'm interested primarily in the campaign. I have the original Star Wars not the original, but the one the previous one that just came out, Star Wars Battlefront, and because it was multiplayer focused, I liked it when I played with you when we were playing together. But otherwise, I'm not super interested in it. But I did download the beta today, and I played 2 rounds. One is the Empire. I played as the droids basically, and one as the rebels. I guess is it the rebels?
No, the Republic.
The Republic. That's right. There's like a general. Because
it's the prequels, so it's the Republic versus the Trade Federation or whatever. Whoever has the robots, the Separatists.
Yeah, it was. I have no fucking idea.
Yeah, I know. It's the lore. Look at me, nerd lore. Go.
Yeah, you tell me, because I don't even know what I was doing. But there were robots and there were humans, and I played on both sides. And it was this objective based, basically like trying to stop the enemy from coming into the palace, and on the other side you were trying to defend the throne room from them. So it was kind of objective based. If you remember from the original Star Wars Battlefront, to play as like I don't know, Luke Skywalker or Darth Vader. You had to pick up a token on the battlefield.
Yeah.
That's gone. So how it works now is as you're playing, you're gaining points for, whatever you're doing, objectives or killing people or whatever. And those points obviously help you level up. But in the actual match, they also help you buy characters. So
like special characters.
Exactly. So when you die, you can always switch your class, right? Uh-huh. But off to the side, there are vehicles and characters. So today there was like Darth Maul and Rey. And then some like beefed up droids and some other characters. So for like 5,000 battle points, if you earn 5,000 points in the match, you could then spawn as Darth Maul or Rey. I gained 2,000 points, so I could spawn as a super duper droid, which I didn't know how to use his weapons and died pretty quickly, but that's because I suck at multiplayer games. So I like that, because the better you do, the more likely it is you'll get a stronger character. Which maybe might tilt some matches, because if you're super good, then you get like a super great character. Like it just makes you even more OP.
Could be very snowbally.
Exactly.
Like win more kind of scenario.
But I liked the fact that I was earning it as opposed to just randomly finding it on the battlefield. And in the original Star Wars Battlefront, not the original, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I would stumble across a vehicle token, and then you instantly spawn into the vehicle, and then I would just crash into the ground because I wasn't ready to be on a vehicle, So it's nice to actually like plan ahead and say, okay, I have these points, a little bit more, then I'll choose this vehicle or this character. Obviously, it looks fantastic, especially on a PS4 Pro. It just looked great. And I got a couple of headshots across the map. I felt pretty good. I was middle of the pack. I'm not great, but I wasn't awful, I guess.
You're not complete noob material.
No, and it's not a game that I don't think it's a game I'm going to purchase, especially with my GameFly full service now, which just really quickly, like, it's starting to work out for me. Like, I'm learning how to manage the queue. You basically want to have a small queue,
I see.
Especially for the fall. So when all these new games are coming out, like, you want to get like one of the new games. Don't have anything else in your queue, because they'll send you those other ones because other people have prioritized the new games. So just make sure. So I've kicked everything off my list except for the stuff that's coming out in the fall. So I should be able to get, when I turn back in Dishonored Death of the Outsider, I'll probably be able to pick up one of those. So anyway.
I'm curious to see how that goes.
Yeah.
Over the next few months, and how often you get games, how quickly you get them from returning, and
right.
Well, the turnaround time from that.
Yeah, and a lot of people have complained about the turnaround time, and the distribution center for me is Los Angeles, so it's actually pretty close. I got my disc in 2 days, so I assume it'll be 2 days turnaround each way. So if I were able to able to play like 2 new games a month, like, that would be worth it for me, because right now it's like $10 a month, and then it'll be $15 a month in 3 months, because I'm doing like a podcast had a special promo or whatever.
Yeah.
But what it's done is with this GameFly thing is that, there's been like 3, 4, 5 times where I'm like, I wanted to buy a new game. And then I didn't because I was like, well, I can just rent it. So I've already saved like $250 by not buying a new game or pre-ordering like Shadow. Like I've been so close to pre-ordering Shadow of War like 15 times and haven't done it because I know I'll be able to rent it eventually.
On the Shadow of War side, did you see the Conan thing with Kumail? I'll butcher his last name.
Who?
Kumail from Silicon Valley and was in the Big Sick.
Yeah.
He voices someone in there. And Conan did a Clueless Gamer with that game.
Oh my god.
It's hilarious. It is.
Oh god.
Oh yeah. I recommend that to anybody to watch that one.
Does he voice an orc?
He does.
Yes.
It's part of the joke. You will listen, and I don't think I could take that game seriously anymore.
Yeah.
At all. I don't know if I could take it seriously to begin with, but especially now.
Well, it's just like it's an orc murder like sandbox, and from all that I've heard so far, like it's just the first game plus 10, which is great because the first game was amazing. So just play the first game first. You can dig into that before.
I don't know how that works though. That's always been my complaint though, is when sequels are, we'll just take that and add more. Looking at you, Assassin's Creed.
Destiny 2.
It doesn't necessarily always work out the best.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think there's a fine line between like, I like this thing, so please make more of it, or do something new. Like the Nintendo approach, like, we talked about, I think last week, Super Mario World versus Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island. Yeah. Like those are completely fucking different. Like I think all of us would have loved to have a second Super Mario World. So, it's, I don't know.
It is a very fine line.
Yeah.
And some games I feel just don't hit it that well. Like, and maybe that's all what people wanted with Shadow of War was just the first game with more. But
yeah, I don't know. I think as a person, like that was my game of the year 2014. Like that was my favorite game that year. Which is also the year that I got back into gaming. And I think if someone said, you finish this game in a couple of years, there'll be another one of these. It's pretty much the same, but like souped up. Would you play it? Yeah, I'd be damn excited about it. So I don't know. The reviews seem pretty good. The microtransactions don't seem to impact much in the game, which is nice.
Yeah.
So anyway, speaking of games that are coming out soon, if you don't have anything else to add about Star Wars.
No, not at the moment.
Okay.
I'm going to kind of just keep my eyes on it through the holiday, and we'll see if I can see myself getting it at some point and just messing around with it. But it's not like I'm going to really go out there and this is a fall game I want. So.
Right. Well, I think because it's, I don't know, the main focus is the multiplayer. Like the campaign's probably like, I don't know, 7 to 10 hours.
Yeah.
I'll bang that out, and I'm sure that I'll enjoy it, and then I won't play it again. So it feels like a rental to me.
I could just get it from Redbox, actually.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Which is kind of how I feel about the Madden 18. I really want to play that story mode. I don't know.
Story mode one time.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a 5-hour story mode, so you rent it and play one night and then turn back in, and you've kind of got your money's worth. I used to always feel bad because like I don't know how much money the devs recoup from rentals. I don't think it's that much, right?
Probably not. Well, it depends on how it works, but I wouldn't. They probably have some deal with the distribution, but I bet they still have to buy their copies. But they might get a deal on them. But
if it's like the video stores from when we were a kid, like when the copies that they bought to rent to us, they had to pay a lot of money for. Like it wasn't.
I don't think it's like that.
Oh, okay.
I understand that, but the game industry doesn't control that stuff. If it made it too expensive, those rental places would just buy stock from normal retail.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's what some like indie game stores were doing. They were just buying stuff on Amazon and then selling it retail price because it was cheaper for them to do it that way.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll see how that goes. But there's cheap ways to play some games. Yeah,
it's especially in the fall when there's just so many. Like I think it's a good way to play because you want to play a bunch of them, right? Because there's some that I want to play Assassin's Creed, I want to play Shadow of Mordor, I want to play Wolf 2, several other games. But with doing the GameFly thing, I can play them, enjoy them, and then like next year when they're on super sale, then I can buy the ones that I actually really like.
Yeah.
So speaking of games that are coming out, Wolf 2 is coming out, and Wolfenstein 2, I should say. What's the subtitle? Wolfenstein 2 something.
I don't even know.
Colossus.
Yeah.
The new Colossus. So they've got a Twitter ad out, and the Twitter ad is "Make America Nazi Free Again." And if you play the ad, it's basically showing jackbooted Nazis running through America, and it just says "Not in my America," which is people started defending Nazis. I don't know. People freaked out because it was
political.
Yeah, right. Which Wolfenstein's always killed Nazis, right?
Yep, that's the thing. That's what Wolfenstein games are.
Well, Call of Duty this year is in World War II. Yep. They're going to be killing Nazis too. So I don't know if this one's more political than that one, except for
I don't think it's political at all.
Even this ad.
I don't know. I don't think they were. Maybe they're trying to like write off the controversy stuff, but I also just feel like they're like Wolfenstein is about killing Nazis. Like that's what this is, and it's funny that people are reacting the way of them. They're like, you're getting political or defending Nazis, it's just absurd to me. The whole thing is absurd. In some ways, I feel like the ad probably is just a giant troll.
Yeah, I think I'd agree with that.
And it's hilarious.
Well, it's awesome. I love this ad. Like it kind of made me want to. It got my attention when I wasn't paying attention to this game because it drops on the day with Assassin's Creed and Mario. But the fact that it said
the trailer that had the drug trip in it and the little that was enough to convince me that I at least need to try this game.
So we see what intrigues you. Okay. Me, it's more I felt like this was a little political just because they riffed on our president's slogan, basically.
Yeah.
So it's just odd for me to see people. I don't know. I think the people who are saying like, upset that this was kind of attacking Nazis or whatever is like, or being too liberal, basically. I felt like most of them were trolls anyways. Trying to get a rise out of people. But they're definitely, it shouldn't be controversial.
No. Did I ever mention on here the Nazi got knocked out in Seattle?
Richard Spencer did?
No. There was a dude weeks ago who was walking around with a swastika wristband or armband.
Oh my god!
And he was walking through downtown Seattle, and there's actual video. He was kind of just randomly harassing people, just kind of yelling stuff at them, and a black dude just knocked him out. One punch. Just boom. Right on the ground, and then everyone went away. And the police the Seattle Times newspaper asked the police, is like, will there be any charges filed? And the police exact quote was, there's been no crime. No one's filed any report.
Well, I mean, that's technically correct, right?
No one has come forward to say that there was a crime, and so they're like, okay.
I wonder if that was
don't walk through Seattle wearing swastika on your arm. You will get knocked out.
I wonder if that was at the same time that in San Francisco there was like a alt-right rally that got canceled. So then instead of doing the rally, they just started walking through parts of San Francisco, like doing the same thing.
This guy was just one random off dude, trying to. I don't know what he thought was going to happen. Honestly,
well, I'm definitely a fan of punching Nazis. I'm pretty unequivocal that I think
Wolfenstein 2 is a good game for that. Then
it absolutely is. It brings up the idea that the only good Nazi is a dead Nazi. So we'll be able to shoot some Nazis and probably hit some Nazis with swords and other things as well. So moving on from Nazis, you and I wanted to talk a little bit about how we find time to game with the children around and making time for gaming and our hobbies when there's so much family responsibility too.
And so I'd probably start with you because been where you're at, and it sounds like you get gaming out of the Switch.
Yes.
Portable things you can hold in your hand easier.
Right.
Some PS4, which I'm impressed by that possibility.
Well, and so here's how I get my PS4 gaming in. So I'm carrying my daughter in the carrier, and she falls asleep, and I get she's asleep for like an hour and a half, so I can play for like an hour. And then it used to be in the middle of the night, I would feed her and then have to rock her for about an hour before I could put her to sleep safely without her like waking back up. So that hour I would play a PS4 game. But recently, in the middle of the night, the TV is just too bright. So when I would try to do that, she would kind of stir, not really wake up, but she was stirring, and it was just, I couldn't do it because it was too bright. So I haven't played at night in a couple of weeks. So I get it done during the day when doing the carrier. Although today, putting our kid to sleep upstairs while we're downstairs, we're able to like talk. Like I'm downstairs right now talking, like we're able to make noise downstairs, which we've been like not being able to make noise too much since the kid was born downstairs.
The white noise machine up there, right?
Yeah, actually it's brown noise.
Brown.
The sleep consultant we got asked us or told us we should use brown noise instead because it's a little deeper.
Yeah.
So we're using that, but yeah. And we've always had the white noise around her, but she's just super sensitive to noise. Like
they all are.
Popping or whatever. It's like she will just startle.
That's not shocking. There was a crazy. It was on NPR. I can't remember the program years ago that they talked about newborns, their vision and like their hearing and just senses, and for that first like year of life, and how just overwhelming it is, and how much as you grow older we tune out noise that we don't even realize we're tuning out noise.
Oh, but they're not able to tune it out.
You learn that, and like vision as well. Like things might just be very bright for them all the time. Right. Our senses have adapted for over the years, and by the time they're like 2 years old, like their senses are fine. They'll tune out a lot of noise.
Right.
So,
but until then,
they're just hearing constant, like just there's lots of constant noise and things.
Well, that's why we've had the white noise. And the thing that's interesting with this brown noise now or whatever, we've been using our phones, or we have like a little noise machine. And the sleep consultant we were with, she was like, you need to get like a Bluetooth speaker and attach it to the app that's on your phone because you need to turn the sound way up. And I was like, oh, we have a Bluetooth speaker sitting here we haven't used in like 4 months because we're not playing music that loud. So that's in her room right now, jacked up. Like it's super loud.
Drowning out all the rest of the noise.
Yep. She's like, it needs to be as loud as she screams. I'm like, well, that's really loud. So we're not going to do that, especially because our neighbors would probably hear it. But that's... Yeah. So anyway, so because the lights were so bright at night, then I wasn't playing much PS4. Then I, obviously do a lot of Switch gaming. And honestly, since the 29th of August, the only game I played on Switch is Mario Rabbids. With so many good indie games coming out, I haven't dipped in on any of them because I'm still playing Mario Rabbids.
How close? How close?
I have 2 more levels, basically, quote unquote levels. Okay. 2 more scenarios, basically. I'm really close. I'm past the halfway point of the last world, so I'm about a fourth of the way.
Okay.
3/4 of the way through the last world. So it is, except for some of the humor. Some of the humor is just kind of dumb.
It's Rabbids. What do you expect?
Yeah, it's not that funny. I think it would be funny to like a 10-year-old or an 8-year-old. It's just not very funny. But the game is fantastic, and I thought I would like let people borrow it, but the DLC seems to be coming sooner than later, so I'm not sure. I'm gonna wait to see what their announcement is before I pass it off. But because I want you to play it, and I want my friend Brad to play it. I think you'd both really like it. But the screen is not too bright for the kid. It's right in my hands. It's just easy to play. So once I get through this, then I'm gonna pop over to Samus Returns, which I haven't got to yet because I wanted to beat Lost Legacy and Mario Rabbids. So I'm almost there. So I'll probably start on that next week. So that's another handheld.
Yeah.
The handheld stuff's where it's at for me right now.
For you, yeah, I can totally. I remember that when my kids were really young. The first, the second is just different. But with the first, I would do the same thing when he was sleeping. I'd usually at that point be playing like PS3. That was pretty easy there. Phone games a lot. Weirdly, I was doing a lot of one-handed. Like if I could play a game one-handed on my phone, it was great. That's kept me going for the first like 6 months really well.
Well, that's Super Mario Run just had an update that's really, really good. So I was playing quite a bit of that a couple days ago. So I definitely understand that.
Yeah, it can be really good and really helpful. Thinking of how I survived that point, like it was a lot of that, and then as like naps became more routine and everything, like I would go and play during nap times a lot more. Like this was whenever we lived at our old rental house.
Right.
I'd go downstairs, and that's where the sewing area was, and my computer was set up downstairs, and just stay down there and play. And then I would start playing more PC stuff at night when the kid was sleeping.
Right.
Like, they would go to bed around 7:38 was our normal bedtime. And then I would usually play for at least another, like, 3 hours, 4 hours.
Mm-hmm.
If I felt like playing, or watch a movie, or hang out with my wife. Shocking. Like, we would do things. And talk and figure out, like, oh my god, what are we doing?
Yeah, we just started hanging out today for the first time in like 2 months, so I understand.
Yeah. You're like, hi. All right. Hey, guess what? All we're going to do is sit around and talk about the kid. But that's okay, because that's everything that's on our mind right now. Right. So, I mean, it was a lot of that. But as they've gotten older, I have to pick and choose what I play while they're awake.
In case they stumble upon you playing it?
Or it's out there in the living room. They can just watch me. It's fine. But it's definitely like, all right, probably not playing the Assassin's Creed stuff while they're awake. You're not going to watch me neck stab people. That's not happening. Although Black Flag, my son watched some Black Flag, but that was like only when I was doing the ship stuff and like finding treasure chests. I made sure I was like, I'm not like killing anything. No blood, no violence going on right now. Just searching, and he's a person who just loves exploration, so he's fine with that. But as they've gotten older, it's become a lot easier to find time again. Night times are always good. Their bedtimes are pretty regular, so I can just play at night. When I'm home during the day, like tonight, I played some Final Fantasy 12 while they really wanted to watch me play a game, so Final Fantasy 12 it was, and so did that for like an hour before bedtime. So it works out in weird ways. The handheld stuff is my commuting stuff now.
Yeah, you were playing
Bravely Second.
That was it. Yep.
Still playing that on my commute. I'm probably quite a few hours in, more than I was thinking, but story-wise, not that far.
Right.
It's a job system. I grind like crazy, because I just want to learn new jobs and do weird mixing with my characters of, like, abilities. So that's what I do in these type of games, and probably make it more trivially easy going forward, but whatever. Right. But it gives you a ton of options on, do you want random encounters or not, at what rate, all sorts of stuff. It's a very nice, modern JRPG. So
sounds like a fun commute, or a perfect commute game.
It is,
too.
And it's 3DS, so you can just click it closed whenever. So I don't have to worry about losing progress or anything.
Right. I love that about the Switch. And the 3DS obviously, but the PS4 has like the rest mode, but it takes it takes a couple button clicks to get there, right? Whereas the Switch, I just hit a button, or the 3DS, I just close it. Like it's just so much more convenient. It really, those seconds matter when you have a kid on your lap.
It's very true. So yeah, I mean, that has become part of the handheld stuff. Is more of my commute gaming, and when I'm home, it's either playing stuff while the kids are around that they can watch,
right,
or now letting them play games some, and then at night playing the things that they can't see.
Right.
So, or if they're gone for the day or whatever, like, then I can play. Is
your son still playing Zelda?
He hasn't this weekend. Not today. We went out today during the day.
Mm-hmm. Right.
There was some events in town, so took him to that, and he did a lot of playing there and playing outside. So
cool.
No, he didn't want to play. He didn't ask to play anything himself today. So maybe tomorrow. We'll see.
Yeah. Cool. Well, speaking real quick before we get into the games we're playing, about your Super Nintendo Classic, it seems like you've hacked it. Is that correct?
Oh, by hacked it, I would use that in giant quotes. Someone else hacked it. I just used the tool that they made.
Right.
Because it is trivial.
So is it just is it a USB? What is it?
Yeah, you just plug it in via the USB port. It's the port on the back of the console, the Classic. Right. Plug it into a computer. Install this thing called Hackchi 2.
Right.
Not even install it, just unzip it, have it running. You hold with the SNES Classic off, hold the reset button up, and hit the power on. And keep holding the reset thing. The power light will not come on the console, but the computer will pick it up as a USB device.
Mm-hmm.
It sets it into basically a USB mode. And from there, the first thing you do in Hackchi is it just has a function saying, hey, first thing I want to do, dump the kernel. So it takes the current software on it and makes a copy of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you say, all right, load custom kernel, which is the one that lets you put other games on there, and it loads it on there. And then it's like, cool. Tells you to power it down, power it back on without holding the reset button. When it powers back on properly and the power light comes back on, the little Hackchi program has a green light saying that it's connected. And then you just say, I want to synchronize whatever games you want, synchronize them.
So you have the ROMs yourself?
Yes.
Got it. Okay.
You have to load the ROM. The Hackchi program has a button. There's like really not that many buttons. There's a button at the bottom that says add more games or synchronize games.
Got it.
And you hit add game, you select the ROM file. It does all the conversion as you load it. You choose an image that you want it to, a box cover or whatever you want. You set its release date, its publisher, if it's 1-player, 2-player, or 2-player, couple different options. That's really it.
Dang.
It is simple. Like, it is brain dead simple.
Cool. Well, I'm going to have to jump into that sooner than later, because it would be nice to at least throw Illusion of Gaia, Chrono Trigger. I guess I'll try this ActRaiser. I've never played that game. But when you load those things up there, are they able to make use of like the save states and all that stuff?
All of it.
Damn, Jesus.
It just works.
Okay.
The system, that system software is not tied to the games,
right?
That are on the system. It's like it can load whatever ROM, and the thing is, the program converts the ROMs to the format that the SNES Classic reads. That's what it's doing. So
it's so crazy that the Super Nintendo, or excuse me, the NES Classic was hacked the same way, so they didn't change it at all.
No, it's the exact same hardware.
So they don't care, or what, or just cost more to fix it?
I really don't think they care.
Yeah.
Overall,
right.
You've already given them the money.
I wonder how much
you've given them. $80 for this thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, they're not putting out another one that's going to have different games on it. At least not anytime soon. So,
how much memory?
It has
storage space?
300 megabytes. And
on the whole thing.
The whole thing, and currently, with the picture I posted to, sent you an whole thing. So I have the original games plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 13 extra games. I'm only using 98 megs of that 300.
Of all the games on there? Yeah. That's all how big they were on those Super Nintendo cards?
Yeah, most of the ROMs that I got are...
like 2 megs or something?
Less than that. They range... depends. They range from half a meg to 4 megs, depending on the game. Like Final Fantasy 6, 4 megs. Final Fantasy 2 or /4, a meg. SimCity, half a meg. So, yeah, you can fit a lot of games on there. Just letting you know.
That's awesome. I'm gonna... You said this is the final release? Because I heard that
this isn't beta or anything. This is Hackchi 2.2. So it is the last few days they've been doing release candidates for this. But this is I guess I wouldn't call it final, because I'm sure there'll be other versions of this as they add more features. But this isn't beta. This is an official release of it. That's, hey, we support SNES Classic completely.
Awesome. I'm gonna have to check that out then.
This is
wow. I mean, that's, the form factor of the Super Nintendo to have those games on there is just, if I can find Uniracers to slap on there, that'd be amazing.
Oh my god. I had to slap one on for my wife. There's one of the highest rated ROMs out there on is a Sailor Moon thing that was only out in Japan. It's like a Sailor Moon JRPG.
And is it only in Japanese?
Someone translated it.
Oh, okay.
So that's one of the great things is I actually got Final Fantasy V. Someone did an English translation of it.
That means you could load Mother 3 onto that thing.
Yeah, you could totally load Mother 3.
Awesome.
Everything. I don't know. It's absolutely ridiculous. I don't know if I should feel bad or not, but there's a lot of games here that I'm never going to get to play again. So, ever.
I wonder if there's a way to get there's like a translation of like the Fire Emblem games that came out in the Super Famicom, but not here.
Almost certainly.
Yeah. Okay. I'm modding this shit out of this thing then. Awesome.
I'll send you the instructions. It's really easy. There was a NeoGAF thread with one person that's like, here's the 6 steps that you have to follow. Like, exactly. Brain dead. Do this, this. Done.
The more brain dead, the better for me. So that's good. So want to move on to games we're playing before I keep like holding my breath that my kid's gonna start crying or whatever. So so far so good. But games that you're playing this week.
Final Fantasy 12.
Mm-hmm.
Still working my way through that. Bravely Second, which we've talked about. Have I played other... and then the classic. I've played more Final Fantasy 3 or 6, whatever. God.
Mm-hmm. You're a couple hours in then?
Yeah, I'm like 5-6 hours in now. It's enjoyable. Like, seriously, I'm just on my JRPG kick right now. I don't know. It's just it's hitting all the right spots for me, like mentally right now. Like, it kept me away from looking at like Original Sin and things like that.
You and me both, man.
I want, but I just don't think I'm ready for that type of game right now. Like, just so much options.
Right.
There's something about the JRPGs that, while I have mechanical options of changing like party composition and what they're wearing and equipment, like the story is pretty straightforward. Like, you don't change that. You don't get to like manipulate that too much.
Sometimes it's nice just to have a linear experience.
Exactly, and I'm just kind of in that spot right now where I need that,
right?
Which is fine. I'm pretty happy to have that.
Well, that's what I liked about the Lost Legacy so much, and what I didn't like about that fourth chapter so much was that most of it was linear. That fourth chapter was open world, of course. And if you guys haven't listened, I dropped a review of the Lost Legacy of a bonus podcast. So check out the feed and see if you can find that. I understand. Like, you want to just enjoy a story. Yeah,
and I don't mind about the grind and things like that. I actually am enjoying stuff like that right now. But yeah, there's definitely a desire just to have some linear, like, more mellow storytelling right now.
Right.
There's just a lot going on in my life. Shifting around with like work is busy, and then my wife's going back to school some, so my responsibilities are a little bit different, more and less in different ways. So it's just nice to have a little bit of a mental. I don't have the mental capacity to like really invest right now. So
yeah, I found the same thing with just being in it with raising our kid and just like surviving to this point, right? Like, video games have been a godsend. If I haven't been able to play them, like, I will put on a YouTube Let's Play, or I'll put on a podcast, and it's just like I can just let my brain go. It's so nice sometimes.
It is.
This week, let's see. Obviously Mario Rabbids I've been playing.
Yep.
Just so like every single level introduces some new thing that just you continue to like. You can't like really check out. You can make some of the characters OP, like. There's a Rabid Luigi has a really nice vampire move where, like, when he attacks someone, he does like a health HP drain, so you gain HP and they lose HP, which then transfers to other characters, so you can kind of buff your health basically. But even that is kind of curtailed by the new powers that other enemies have, and they're resistant to certain of your super effects. So it's always making you think. It's a shame I'm not really playing with the sound. I don't really play games with sound right now. But the soundtrack is phenomenal. Just everything about that game is super fun. I'm so close to the end. I kind of don't want it to end. I was telling you over text, like it's the first game since Zelda this year that has just enraptured me like that, where I just don't want it to end. It's so fun. It's just a fun game. So I'm playing probably 6 hours of that. About an hour of my progress was reset because there was some puzzle that I found a glitch for, where you have to carry this statue around and do these certain moves with it. But I wandered off the battlefield back where I came from, so away from this contained area, which you shouldn't be able to leave, but I did. And once I did, the whole puzzle just wiped, and then I could walk through it to the next area. But then all the characters and everything they were just like frozen. They weren't moving. So I had to go back to the beginning, and then I wiped the last battle, which actually took me a long time to beat. And I had like the most amazing ending to it, where with like Princess Peach, like with my last HP, threw a grenade across the map and took out the last enemy, and it was just fantastic. And then I had to do it again. So that was interesting. So playing that on the PS4, I talked about Battlefront, but there was something I was playing on PS4 that I've been playing. I started Until Dawn.
You did that one, and you did
Hue.
Hue, yeah.
So Until Dawn, I'm trying to beat it this month. I've played the opening like 2 or 3 times and never got past it. So I really want to do it. And I realized where I got stuck. There's this place when you finally get to like the big house where like the whole game takes place. You have a lighter and you're running around this house trying to find the bathroom to get an aerosol can to unfreeze a lock. And because it's so dark, I can't see where I'm going. I don't know where this place is at. It's so frustrating to find this one room. So I remember shutting it off in frustration a couple times when I got there. So I'm going to try to get through there. But PS Plus games this month, I mean, obviously Metal Gear Solid 5, but Hue is one that released as well. And I heard a lot of buzz on Reddit about it. Like people were saying, like, don't skip this game because you're, wanting to play Metal Gear Solid 5.
Yeah.
So I loaded it up. And it's phenomenal. It's this platformer. The platforming is kind of, some of the areas are just kind of brain dead, but the other ones that are not brain dead are just puzzles based upon colors. So you're this guy, and as you progress through the world, you pick up slivers of color, and then you can use that color to manipulate the world. So if on your screen there's like a blue brick blocking your way, if you have picked up the blue color already, you spin your wheel to blue, and then it changes the background blue and then erases everything that's blue. And then you can progress. So it's like a Metroidvania based on color.
Okay.
And it is the puzzles and the platforming, the dexterity, like you have to like jump and then change the color and land on the new block. It's just smart and short puzzles, like short bursts of puzzles. And I just kept thinking like it would be such a cool thing, like your son and daughter might like enjoy watching it just because the way you manipulate color and explore is really fun. It's only a 4-hour game. I'm about halfway through already. It's honestly, it's the most fun I've had with a PS Plus game since Rocket League, which is weird because that came out 2 years ago, and this is nothing like Rocket League. But it's just I'm really glad I listened to people online who said like at least check it out.
But it's well crafted.
It is really well crafted. It is. I can't believe I didn't hear about it. It's really good. Just there's so many games that just probably got drowned out. It came out last year. So the puzzles are smart. You just feel smart when you do it. You're like, I see what they're doing. So nice. It's cool. And then that's really it. That's all I've been playing this week. Hopefully by the time we talk next week, I will have beaten Mario Rabbids and then gotten through Dishonored, Death of the Outsider, which just came from GameFly. I'm
very curious about your feelings of that one.
I did not like Dishonored, the first one. And I'm not a big fan of Arcane Studios games or even Bethesda games for that matter. So yeah, I'm curious too. I played about half an hour today and I actually really liked it. So we'll see how I feel moving forward.
Very cool.
Yeah. Anything else for this episode, man?
I think I'm pretty good.
Cool. Well, thanks everyone for listening. This has been episode 108 of Prof and Dev Play Games. We have a website now. It is profanddev.com. Got some reviews up there, starting to add some content. So check it out. And then I'm at Prof Plays Games on Twitter. He is at SummerSpeak on Twitter. And we'll be back next week to talk about more games.
All right. Have a good night, everyone.
Night, folks.